Hi, I'm Fernandez from FERNTV, and we're here at the Toronto International Film Festival 2014, and we're going to go to an interview with director Mathieu Denis of the film CORBO. What inspired you to make a film about the origins of the FLQ?
Well, I really didn't set out originally to make a film about FLQ. I was really touched by Jean Corbo's story. He's the main character in the film, and he's the one that brought me to the story. And he's the one whose story I wanted to tell, not FLQ. And what struck me with Jean's story was the fact that, first of all, of course, the fact that he had such a tragic ending at 16 years old. And also I was interested in what had brought him to to do such radical acts with FLQ, planting bombs, and so he was really into radical action. And I was interested in understanding what had brought him to do this, and so that's when I started researching, and when I wrote the film, I really had this in mind: what brings a 16-year-old kid to radical action.
And how did you research such a topic? Did you go back to perhaps his family, or did you go back to a lot of periodicals of CORBO?
Well, there was I did a thorough documentary research before starting writing the film. I met a number of the people that were involved, so a member of the FLQ members who are still alive. I met some relatives of Jean, but before I did that, I really wanted to know the subject, because when when you meet someone, you can't just go and ask them, well, what happened,
right.
because you can't really you have to scratch more than the surface, and so I did this huge documentary research, actually, with newspapers of the time, of course with history books, and but it was very there's not that many things that have been written about the subject, so I really had to go on my own and find the material in the 60s publications, and
right.
So that's how I worked.
How is this film going to be important to tell Canadian history, you think, from your perspective?
I think there are two aspects that are important here. I think we have to understand our past if we don't want it to repeat itself. And I think René Lévesque used to say something which I think is very interesting. He said, terrorism is not the disease in itself, it's a symptom to a disease. And in this case, the disease was hopelessness, poverty, lack of access to education. People in Quebec felt like their horizons were blocked. Yes. And this generates anger. And I think, all over the world right now, we see a number of radical terrorist groups. And of course we could, put those in boxes and say, well, this is evil and that's it. Right. There's nothing more to it. But I think when you do that, it just explodes. You have to understand what brings people to such actions, and I think it's the exact same thing that we see today. I think despair and hopelessness brings people to desperate measures, and so I think this is why it's important to try to examine these past events in order to better understand today's world.
Mm-hmm. So how does it feel to be here at TIFF, and what is the message you want to relay to your viewers with CORBO?
It's really great being here, actually. I had this fear when I arrived that it's a huge festival, 285 films, stars, and all that, and of course there are no Hollywood stars in my film, and it's about like there are very local aspects to it. So I had this fear that maybe the film would go unnoticed, and people would not talk about it, but it has been the exact opposite. I think the film really has crossed over to audiences or people outside of Quebec, and we've had like a lot of attention, and there's really a discussion around the film, around the themes of the film, and this is great for me as a filmmaker, because I can I can see that unfolding in real time, and also it's good for the film, because the more people talk about it, the more people will see the film. And I think as a filmmaker, of course you make a film because you have things that you'd like to say, and stories you'd like to tell, but at the same time the objective is to share these ideas, these stories with people, because that's when it takes meaning and it takes sense. And so this is I think being here helps, having this this is discussion with the public.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you come talk to us again for any upcoming films, and all the best for the film Corbo here at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.